This obviously outraging a lot of people. Joining us right now, criminal defense attorney Matt Fakhoury. Matt, you're a former prosecutor. You understand what went down. For those watching at home, it was really just a matter of they shouldn't have asked him any questions until his attorney was present. Is that what it was about?
Essentially what happens is that he has a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent or have an attorney present during questioning. Apparently, he asserted his right. He said, yes, I don't want to speak. I want to remain silent and have an attorney present. However, they continued to question him. When they continued to question him, he did give this statement or this confession. And as a result, now that confession it was illegally obtained, or it's considered inadmissible because it was a Fifth Amendment violation.
So what can be done if the case is complete? He's out in the street again.
He is. He's as free as a bird. Yeah. So what could be done? There's several things that could be done. Apparently, however, they didn't have enough evidence to do what needed to be done. So what I mean is, if there is other evidence, like this TV video or this, I should say, this clip, they could still use that evidence and proceed with the prosecution. However, from what I understand, the admission basically identified him in the video, and without the admission, you really can't use the video. And without the video, you don't have any more evidence.
But that doesn't make sense. The video was there before he made the confession. So why can't they just use video evidence placing him on the scene and not mention the confession that was made and that is considered now inadmissible?
They could try to do that, but apparently it's not good enough because the video evidence in and of itself, he was masked, he was covered. I'm not sure if anybody else can identify him in the video. Now, from what I understand, and obviously what occurred, is that if there was some other evidence, they probably wouldn't dismiss this case. By dismissing it, it's telling me that other than this statement, which was the crux of this case, they didn't have much to go on, and the prosecutor properly, to some degree from an ethical standpoint, dismissed the charges against him.
So what else happens? Is there anything that can happen after this?
Potentially, he could be recharged in the future if there's new evidence or if there's evidence that we don't know about. My instincts are telling me that that probably won't happen. If there was evidence, and or if there was good evidence, I should say, they probably wouldn't have dismissed the charges. Right now, he's as free as a bird, and again, my instincts are telling me he probably won't be facing charges, at least on this case.
How often does this happen?
Unfortunately, constitutional violations do happen. A Fifth Amendment violation like this is maybe a little less frequent than a Fourth Amendment unlawful search and seizure. Police officers make mistakes. Sometimes mistakes happen that are intentional, and as a result, whether it's unintentional or intentional, it's a constitutional violation and evidence is excluded. What typically happens, though, is that the prosecutor won't outright dismiss the charges. They'll wait for the defense attorney to file, like in this case, what we call a motion to suppress. They'll litigate that before the judge. The defense attorney would ask the judge to throw out the statement or exclude it, and the judge would make that determination. Here, the prosecutor didn't do that. In all fairness, I think the prosecutor was trying to be proper, ethical, and live up to their standards. But what typically happens is that the defense attorney will file the motion. Here, the prosecutor proactively said, hey, this is a bad statement. This was a constitutional violation of his rights. We can't use it, and because of that, we're going to be dismissing these charges.
I feel for the families.
I do too. Very sad situation.
Absolutely. Matt Fakhoury, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.